Hare Krishna, welcome to this episode of Bhagavadgītā. Today we'll be discussing a very important verse, chapter 10, verse 10, which is the third verse of the Chatushloki Bhagavad-gītā. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimidandhasya Jnananjana-shalakaya चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवम् साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते। तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। So today's verse 10.10 teṣāṁ satata-yuktānāṁ bhajatāṁ prīti-pūrvakam dadāmi buddhi-yogaṁ tam yena upayānti te. Teṣāṁ, unto them, satata-yuktānāṁ, always engaged, bhajatāṁ, in rendering devotional service, prīti-pūrvakam, in loving ecstasy, dadāmi, I give, buddhi-yogaṁ, real intelligence, tam, that, yena, by which, mam, unto me, upayānti, come, they. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation: to those who are constantly devoted to serving me with love, I give the understanding by which they can come to me. Purport. In this verse, the word buddhi-yogaṁ is very significant. We may remember that in the second chapter, the Lord instructing Arjuna said that he had spoken to him of many things and that he would instruct him in the way of buddhi-yoga. Now buddhi-yoga is explained. Buddhi-yoga itself is action in Kṛṣṇa consciousness. That is the highest intelligence. So just to refresh the memory, if you do not know, 239 if you go. एषा ते भिहिता सांख्ये बुद्धिर्योगे त्विमां शृणु बुद्ध्या युक्तो यया पार्थः कर्मबन्धं प्रहास्यसि. So the context is that before this verse, of course, Kṛṣṇa also explained indirectly in a negative way the characteristics of the soul, that it does not have birth, it does not have death, it cannot be cut, it cannot be burned or withered or something like that. So what it is not, he explained from 2nd chapter 11th verse to 30th. Of course, he also said that it is eternal. Yeah? So that's the preliminary understanding of the soul. And then he went on in the 31st to 33rd verses of the second chapter is about, he's asking Arjuna that, if you desist from this war, you're not even going to go to heavenly planets, right? So that is the one of the considerations that Kṛṣṇa presented to Arjuna. That what are you trying to achieve? Are you trying to become famous in this world as a non-violent man, or do you want to not commit sins and go to heavenly planets, or you want to get liberation from this material world? Because if you are choosing either of them, if you are desiring either of them, none of them you can achieve with your current disposition of wanting to desist from the war. Because, firstly, the war is my desire, that they have to be killed. Whoever has to be killed in this war has to be killed, and that's my plan. And your business is to execute my plan. And even if you do not know to such extent that what is Krishna's plan, we have to go by the directions of the Shastra. The Shastra says that a Kshatriya, when presented with the opportunity to fight for the sake of dharma, he should. And he should not consider who his enemies or antagonists are. He has to participate in the war. So that's, you are bound by duty. You are now confused because you have some attachment somewhere. So you're not acting in self-realization. You're thinking, oh, you're killing your family members. Well, soul cannot be killed. So you're not actually killing them. You're just doing your duty, and if people get killed in that, then that is the whole purpose. I mean, the duty has to be performed regardless of what the consequence is, and especially when the cause is justified. So that is that. Then there is heavenly planets. Okay, so if you are wanting liberation and if you want to do the right thing, well, then you have to toe the line and do your duty. But if you want heavenly planets, well, for a Kshatriya, the way to heavenly planets is to die in a war. Or even if he does not die, if he is victorious in all of his wars, then after the end of his life, he will go to heavenly planets because he has done his duty rightly. Because defeat means death for a Kshatriya. Either he dies or he wins the war. There is no such thing as defeat and run away from the war. Unless he's an absolute coward, then nobody will respect him after that. So that also he says in the second chapter. So you want heavenly planets? Well, you're not going to get that because you're running away from your duty. So you can't get heavenly planets. So self-realization you don't have if you desist, because you are concerned with the body, protecting the body of the relatives. So there you've lost track. Heavenly planets are not going to reach. And if you want to become famous in this world as a non-violent man, well, people are not going to consider you as a non-violent man. People will consider you as a coward for having run away from the war. So, whichever thing you're desiring, you're not going to achieve any of those. Now, until this point, which this is now, not for the number, it's chapter 2, text 39. Just now we have read that. Esha te bhita sankhya. We'll go to the translation. But just before that, until 38, he was mentioning these things as, in the beginning of the second chapter, he kind of not even chided, gave a friendly, sarcastic remark. And then later on, he chastised him, and then he explained the position of the soul in an indirect way, in a negative way, what it is not. But what it is not very explicitly mentioned, but you get the idea. Okay? Because it cannot be anything material, that's what it established. And then the consideration of heavenly planets is presented. And then consideration of worldly fame is presented. All this is from the materialistic point of view or just bordering spiritual life, which is the understanding of the soul. But buddhi-yoga means not only to understand that I am the soul, but also who is that soul related to? The Supreme Soul, Kṛṣṇa. And what are the activities in that relationship? and to actually engage in that activity and attain perfection by realization. That is buddhi-yoga. So that is the summit. So here he is saying, Eshate bhevita sankhya. Sankhya means, until now I have taught you by material considerations, Sankhya Yoga I have done, and the analysis of the soul and the body is all Sankhya Yoga. And then next, now I am giving you now Buddhi Yoga. It's translation, you see. Thus far I have described this knowledge to you through analytical study. Now listen as I explain it in terms of working without fruitive results. O son of Pritha, when you act in such knowledge, you can free yourself from the bondage of works. So acting without fruitive results means to act for and on behalf of Kṛṣṇa. To act for and on behalf of Kṛṣṇa. Sometimes we think we are acting for Kṛṣṇa, but are we acting on behalf of Kṛṣṇa? That is only when we can actually act for Kṛṣṇa. Not exactly. Kṛṣṇa is kind enough to give us some concession. So what do I mean by working on behalf of Kṛṣṇa? Means when people think in the beginning stages of devotional service that I'm working for Kṛṣṇa, what he's actually thinking is he wants to do something and he wants to offer that to Kṛṣṇa and then take the remnants and all that in an imperfect way. The plan is still his. He has his own ideas and plans about life, and he wants to add Kṛṣṇa into his life. And he thinks, okay, I'm doing it for Kṛṣṇa. But doing it for Kṛṣṇa means as Kṛṣṇa wants. So of course, even the initial stages, that is also what Kṛṣṇa wants. For example, offering the food to Kṛṣṇa and contributing some amount of his one's earnings to Kṛṣṇa. Ideally 50%. But in the beginning, we may not be as surrendered, so we may start with at least something better than nothing. So these things are beginning. That is also ordered by Kṛṣṇa, yes. But my thing is, I'm not exactly acting on behalf of Kṛṣṇa. On behalf of Kṛṣṇa is when my entire life is just based on executing the order of Kṛṣṇa. I not making any plans, but only executing the plans and orders of Kṛṣṇa. And in the matter of such execution, I may take up many plans and many missions and many projects or something like that. But it is not my own. I'm carrying out the instruction of Kṛṣṇa. So that is the ideal state we have to be in. That is Buddhi Yoga. That is actual application of intelligence. That is the sign of intelligence. That's the proof of intelligence. Until then, we are not actually intelligent spiritually. Transcendental intelligence we don't have. Material intelligence we may have. But that actually is mayaya apahrita jnana. That is intelligence or stolen by Maya. Knowledge stolen by Maya, intelligence stolen by Maya. So that is what material intelligence is all about. Spiritual intelligence, which is real intelligence. That is buddhi-yoga. That means to be Kṛṣṇa conscious. And starting from this verse 239, he goes on to explain buddhi-yoga, and then the symptoms of a transcendentalist, everything comes. Now, you see, in this second chapter itself, 266, Nasti buddhi-ayuktasya. It means those who are not engaged in Kṛṣṇa consciousness, they have no buddhi. They have no intelligence. When we talk about intelligence, transcendental intelligence, because that is the real intelligence of the Atma. We are Atma. Our material intelligence is a perverted reflection of the transcendental intelligence. Material intelligence will very expertly keep us bound in this material. We think we are progressing, we think we are doing good, we are better than others, we are doing extremely remarkable. We may, in the material sphere, but it has no spiritual value, no spiritual benefit. Ultimately, it ends in defeat because everything that we work for will be gone one day at the end of life. So, nāsta buddhi-yogaṁ, one who is not connected with the Supreme Krishna consciousness can have neither transcendental intelligence nor a steady mind, without which there is no possibility of peace. And how can there be any happiness without peace? So, for us to have happiness, we have to have peace. If we have to have peace, then we have to have a steady mind and transcendental intelligence. No, no. If you want to have peace, then we have to have a steady mind. If our mind is agitated, we cannot have peace. So, for a steady mind, we have to have transcendental intelligence because intelligence is higher than the mind. So, the intelligence has to control the mind. So, for the transcendental intelligence, we have to be connected with Krishna consciousness. Otherwise, we cannot have. And that is exactly the topic of today's verse. So, if we want happiness, then we have to stay connected with Krishna. teṣāṁ satata-yuktānāṁ. If we are Krishna conscious, the other verse 266, what is that? Nāsti buddhir-ayuktasya. Ayuktasya and here satata-yuktānāṁ. Exact opposite. So, ayuktasya means not connected with Krishna consciousness, with Krishna. And satata-yuktānāṁ means always connected. So, when they are always connected with me in Krishna consciousness, the connection means to serve Him under the instruction of the bona fide spiritual master, Guru, Sadguru, real Sadguru, not the poor one. So, teṣāṁ satata-yuktānāṁ bhajatāṁ prīti-pūrvakam. Unless we have this prīti, we cannot do bhajan. Our current bhajan is a Vaidhi Bhakti. It is out of compulsion we are doing it because at least there is a matter of obedience. We are trying to execute the order of the spiritual master, but there is not much of prīti. So, the advanced stages of devotional service look like, oh, audio is not here because the mic is not here. I'm so sorry. Yeah, the mic was far away. I'm so sorry. I did not look at the comment section. Okay. I hope now it is clear. It was so far away from me. Okay, so that is bad. Okay. 17 minutes into the class is where the mic got all right. Okay, so prīti-pūrvakam. Let me know in the comments. Yeah, now it's clear. Okay, good. teṣāṁ satata-yuktānāṁ bhajatāṁ prīti-pūrvakam dadāmi buddhi-yogaṁ tam yena upayānti te. So unless we are in Krishna consciousness, okay, for those who have not heard it just now, I'll just repeat that 266. नास्ति बुद्धिरयुक्तस्य न चायुक्तस्य भावना न चा भावयतः शान्तिरशान्तस्य कुतः सुखम्. So here we have said, one who is not connected with Krishna and the Supreme, not connected with the Supreme in Krishna consciousness, can have neither transcendental intelligence nor a steady mind, without which there is no possibility of peace. And how can there be any happiness without peace? Now this is important. If we want happiness, then we have to have peace. If we want peace, we need a steady mind. If we want a steady mind, then we have to have very strong and transcendental intelligence. Because the intelligence can control the mind, because it is superior to the mind, according to 342 of Bhagavadgītā. So if you want to have transcendental intelligence, then we have to be engaged in Krishna's service, in Krishna consciousness. So this is the chain, this is the prerequisites of all these stages. So unless we are in Krishna consciousness, we cannot have transcendental mind, transcendental intelligence. If we don't have that, then we cannot have a steady mind. If we cannot have a steady mind, we cannot have peace. If we cannot have peace, how can there be happiness? So, if we want happiness, in other words, we have to be in Krishna consciousness. So this is the chain you have to understand. Now, so today, if you see this verse 266, it is na nasti buddhir ayuktasya. Ayuktasya. The intelligence is not connected with the Supreme, connected with Krishna. Um, Here in today's verse, it is satata-yuktānāṁ, exactly opposite, which is always connected with Krishna. So bhajatāṁ prīti-pūrvakam. Prīti-pūrvakam means with affection, with love. Unless we have priti, we cannot really do bhajan. Now our current day bhajan is in sadhana bhakti, which is we are doing it out of compulsion, out of obedience to the order of the spiritual master we're trying to execute. But it comes to a point when one is matured, one will do it spontaneously. One needs no goading. One will automatically do it. Okay, I want to actually. Okay, this Bhakta Robin is commenting the original 1972 Bhagavad Gita. And he's saying that it is real translation from Prabhupada and not Jayadvaita Swami. First of all, Jayadvaita Swami was not there in 1972. Yeah, you are saying later versions. But you have to understand one thing. Please try to understand this. This is more nuanced than you think. Okay? It's not that the later versions of Bhagavad Gita are important. And it's not Jayadvaita's translations. It is Prabhupada's translations. And they may have changed the word here and there. It will not change the meaning. It will not change the potency of the book. Absolutely not. Yes, it has to be original. But what is original is also subjective now. Because in 1972, many things were not original. And this is a classic example. You said this. You have quoted this. One who is not in transcendental consciousness can have neither a controlled mind nor steady intelligence. Now, this is actually less clear than the 1983 version. Because in the 1983 version, you're talking as if the 1983 version, like this one, is wrong. Oh, sorry, not this. 266. Okay, let's actually don't just be a party person. Evaluate. We should learn how to think, not just what to think. Oh, we have been told that it's all poison. This is Jayadvaita poison. No. Let's look at this. Okay, one who is not connected with the Supreme in Krishna consciousness, that is very specific. Whereas one who is not in transcendental consciousness, that's a bit more vague. Okay, and I'll show you another classic, absolute classic is 724. Look at this. Avyaktam vyaktimapannam manyante mam abuddhayah param bhavamajananto mamavyayam anuttamam. This is the so-called changed version. Unintelligent men who do not know me perfectly think that I, the Supreme Personality of Godhead Kṛṣṇa, was impersonal before and have now assumed this personality. Okay? Due to their small knowledge, they do not know my higher nature, which is imperishable and supreme. This is absolutely clear, without any ambiguity. I'll show you. Let's see if I can pull out the original 1972 one. Let me see if I can bring it out. Yeah, 1972 version. Okay. Unintelligent men who know me not think that I have assumed this form and personality. Due to their small knowledge, they do not know my higher nature, which is changeless and supreme. In the changed version, he said, unintelligent men who do not know me perfectly think that I, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, was impersonal before and have now assumed this form and personality. They do not know. So it is very clear that, they think that, he's impersonal before, I'm impersonal before, and now I assume the personality, but which is not the case. Whereas here, it is said, unintelligent men who do not know Krishna think that I have assumed this form and personality. That means intelligent men will think that he has no form and personality. So the persons who think that he has form and personality are unintelligent. You see how the meaning is? This actually kind of supports the Mayavadi idea, whereas this verse is meant for rebutting our idea. It is complete opposite meaning. Yeah, you see, due to their small knowledge, they do not know my higher nature, which is changeless and supreme. And added to this, you know what is that fact? If you see the manuscript, there is a book, there is a website called bookchanges.com, and you can download chapter wise all Bhagavad Gita manuscripts of Prabhupada, where he, final edits he was doing before it goes to the printing. Not exactly final, because editors went through it after that. In that, you will see that the translation of 724 looks very much similar to the changed version, so-called 1983 version, than the 1972 version. And the famous 1972 disaster, 1844 verse, Goraksha Vanijyam. Goraksha means cow protection. Whereas the 1972 version, in 1983 version and beyond, it is cow protection. In 1972, so-called original version, cattle raising. Cattle raising is not cow protection, because all the dairy industry is raising cattle. They are not protecting the cows. So cattle raising is not equal to cow protection at all. In fact, it is cow killing. If a Westerner reads cattle raising, okay, that's a Vaishya. Okay, so I'll start a dairy farm. And what do they do with the cows which do not give milk, or bulls? They send them to a slaughterhouse. They think it's okay. So it's completely opposite meaning of what it's supposed to be. So you try to understand what is actually Prabhupada's real, what he wants to say, and what he did not want to say. So as much as I want the Bhagavad Gita to be what Prabhupada wanted to say, unfortunately, 1972 version is not the thing that Prabhupada wanted to say. And I also maintain that 1983 is not also the perfect, because they made some changes here and there. But my thing is this. Not it's the fact is this. How much of the meaning has changed? How much? In fact, some of the things were corrected. Some of the verses which were not quoted in Sanskrit in the purports were added, or when the verses were there and then the references, like where exactly the verse is taken from, which Upanishad or which Smriti or something, and then the verse, chapter and verse number, which was not there, were added in later versions. And at the end, there is index of verses quoted in the purports. That is not there in the 1972. That is there in the later versions. All these are absolutely welcome changes. And they're not exactly changing something what Prabhupada has given us. In fact, they're mentioning what actually Prabhupada given. And also in the introduction of Bhagavad Gita, Prabhupada, the introduction is there. He's actually translating the Gita Mahatmya for a very long portion of the introduction. The verses, the Sanskrit verses, are not mentioned in the 1972. Whereas in the 1983, wherever the translation is, just above that, the Sanskrit is quoted. For a preacher, that is absolutely useful to have verses like that. And you can also memorize them. And you can quote them when necessary. So that is important. And why would I want to go against that? So don't, be a fanatic. So don't be a fanatic. It's not your fault. I mean, this is how we are told by the so-called Prabhupada. There is a video. It is so, I get, my blood boils. There is a Russian so-called rascal, so-called devotee, rascal of the first order. He, you know what he did? On camera, he burned the Bhagavad Gita, the edited versions. Burned them. Tens or even hundreds of them. Burnt in the video. He said, this is poison. This is the kind of fanaticism. They are offending Kṛṣṇa like anything. You see, even if the Jayadvaita or whatever his team has edited here and there, some verses, not even verses, the translations here and there, sometimes plural, sometimes singular, and sometimes actually they corrected it to the right, whether singular or plural. Sometimes, I see that it's unnecessary. Why did they even do it? There's no necessity. But still, the meaning did not change. Okay? And now, even if you say, oh, all the changes are bad, okay, fine. If you calculate all the changes put together, They make less than 1%, less than 0.5% of the entire book. You mean to say those less than 0.5% is so powerful that they completely eclipse the and rest of the 99.5% or even more of Prabhupada's words? You mean Prabhupada's words are so important that these people who are extremely powerful in order to eclipse Prabhupada's potency and present to you poison, and Prabhupada is rendered completely powerless? You think so? Let me tell you something. This original book all started in 2011, 2012 with a great vigor. Before that, there were no such thing as original books. And even now, all the other languages than English, it's all the changed version. Okay? I read only the changed versions in the beginning because I joined in 2005. 2003 was my first book, Bhagavad-gītā. It was a changed version. And all my books after that, I bought all my books by 2006. Everything I bought, all books, Chaitanya Charitamrita, Bhagavatam, everything. All of them were changed. Edited version. I read. And I know many people, like this rascal who burned the books on camera. He is the so-called Prabhupada original Vadi. What hellish understanding he has in his brains that he burned the books? Huh? Is that a proper understanding? Is that a if I read original books, I will have potency, I will have proper understanding, and if I read changed one, I will be poisoned by Jayadvaita. Well, this guy is poisoned to the max. Rascal, he burning the Bhagavad Gītas on camera like that, and he calls himself a devotee. So, don't. Yeah, this is the other thing. The blessed Lord said. You know how this blessed Lord thing came about? It was Hayagriva who suggested this. And when Prabhupada said, okay, because he said Western people will understand the blessed Lord and all like that. What is the meaning of blessed Lord? Did Prabhupada ever use the phrase the blessed Lord? Did he ever use that? He always said supreme. Whenever there is Sri Bhagavan Uvacha, he said the supreme personality of Godhead said. And that is what is in the changed version. An original version says the blessed Lord. What is that? Who blessed the Lord? Huh? Who blessed the Lord? I want to know. Who's the rascal who blessed the Lord? Who thinks he's good enough to bless the Lord? But that was how it came about in the 1972 version. So when I was reading, when I got an original one, I was reading the Blessed Lord. You see, whenever I read, whatever I read, I try to understand what it means. I just don't read and skim through and read on. No. Any thoughtful person will stop and think, the Blessed Lord. What is that phrase? Even the phrase causeless mercy, it took me a while to understand. Very long to understand what is causeless mercy. What is the meaning of that phrase, causeless mercy? What is causeless mercy? So, the blessed Lord. What is this blessed Lord? Okay, causeless mercy I understood later on. But blessed Lord, what is blessed Lord? Blessed? The Lord is blessed? What is that? So it is a Hayagriva who said that in the West they will understand blessed Lord better, Supreme Personality. So Prabhupada half-heartedly, okay, something like that. And it went on. And when it came out on print and Prabhupada was reading it, no, this is changed. And the next one, change this. Prabhupada said, this should not be there. It should be replaced with Supreme Personality of God. And it was changed. I would rather prefer that. So, we need to have what Prabhupada wanted us to read. Right? Unfortunately, the 1972 is not the perfect version, and it's not exactly what Prabhupada wanted us to read. You should understand this. So Daniel is asking, I just came in. Who burned the Bhagavad Gītas on camera? Was it Jayadvaita Swami? Not at all. Not at all. It was a so-called Prabhupadanuga who was into original books, and nothing but original books, 1972. And he burned the so-called edited version, 1983 versions and all, on camera. Is that called the follower of original books of Prabhupada? Rascal of the first order. If you need context, you watch back this video later on because I don't want to repeat it to the rest of the audience. So anyway, so that is that. Okay, this is a very important thing. In fact, I want to make a whole video on this, so I'll make that on my upcoming podcast. Okay, going back. Let's go back. Okay, so nasti buddhira-yuktasya na cha-yuktasya bhavana. This we have done. So unless we are Krishna conscious, we cannot have transcendental intelligence. And the same thing Krishna is saying here. When you are devoted to me always and worshipping me with love, I give the understanding by which he can come to me. So that transcendental intelligence here, Krishna is saying, I give the intelligence. In the 266, it is said, if you don't engage yourself in Krishna consciousness, and that is also ayuktasya, not connected, but it is still vague. Not connected with what? That is not very clear. Here, extremely clear. teṣāṁ satata-yuktānāṁ bhajatāṁ prīti-pūrvakam dadāmi buddhi-yogaṁ tam. Dadāmi means I give the intelligence. Yena upayānti, so that they can reach me, mam. Very clear. He makes it crystal clear without any doubt, without any ambiguity. Okay? So to those who are constantly devoted to serving me with love, I give the understanding by which they can come to me. Yeah, by the way, maybe you can search it on YouTube if you can get that link of the man burning the Bhagavad-gītas. It's a Russian devotee. I don't have the link readily available with me, but yeah, that is there. But anyway, if there is a distraction for you, don't do that. Later on, you can always put it in the comment section of this video. Okay. All right. So now, as we were reading in the purport, we stopped it here. So in the second chapter, he said, the Lord, instructing Arjuna, said that he had spoken to him of many things and that he would instruct him in the way of buddhi-yoga. Now buddhi-yoga is explained. Buddhi-yoga itself is action in Krishna consciousness. That is the highest intelligence. See, action in Krishna consciousness is the highest intelligence. Buddhi means intelligence and yoga means mystic activities or mystic elevation. When one tries to go back home, back to Godhead, and takes fully to Krishna consciousness in devotional service, his action is called buddhi-yoga. What is buddhi-yoga definition? When one tries to go back home, back to Godhead, and takes fully to Krishna consciousness in devotional service, his action is called buddhi-yoga. In other words, buddhi-yoga is the process by which one gets out of the entanglement of this material world. The ultimate goal of progress is Krishna. Very important. As simple as that statement is, the ultimate goal of progress is Krishna. People do not know that this is the goal actually. They say, oh, we are progressing, we are now advanced, 21st century, technology, AI, blah, blah, blah. We are advancing. How do you define advancement? In physics, there is speed and there is velocity. You know what is the difference between speed and velocity? Speed means just, distance per time. But velocity is distance per time in the direction. So, direction is important. Just speed without direction is just wasting one's valuable human life. So, when they say progress, you can only define the word progress is used wrongly. And today's definition of progressive is even worse. Those leftist people who are, oh, we are progressive, we are into inclusion, we are into, breaking free from the traditional constraints of human civilization, which was, founded upon such limited belief systems of gender and everything. So ours is just free gender. One can be anything one wants. This is they call progressive. And one which is technological advancement, social media, everything, make it as efficient as possible, make it as technologically, pumped up as possible, and that they think is progressiveness. And part of progressive philosophy is that they have to break free from the past traditions, right? Part of it, huge part of it, is religion. So becoming more modern means becoming more irreligious, breaking free from the confines and the stereotypical religious rigidity, that haunted the past, or that possess the past. We have to break free from that. So this is how they talk. This is they call progressive. That is the definition of regressive culture. Regressive, because progress means velocity, as I said, direction is the goal, is Krishna. And what did Prahlad Maharaj say? Famous verse. न ते विदुः स्वार्थगतिं हि विष्णुं दुराशया ये बहिरर्थमानिनः अन्धा यथान्धैरुपनीयमानास् तेऽपि शतन्त्र्याम् उरुदां निबद्धाः. Persons who are strongly entrapped by the consciousness of enjoying material life, and who have therefore accepted as their leader or guru a similar blind man attached to external sense objects, cannot understand that the goal of life is to return home back to Godhead and engage in the service of Lord Vishnu. That is the goal. As blind men guided by another blind man miss the right path and fall into a ditch, materially attached men led by another materially attached man are bound by the ropes of fruitive labor, which are made of very strong cords, and they continue again and again in materialistic life, suffering the threefold miseries. So our current society is perfectly summed up in this verse. They do not know that the goal is Krishna, and therefore the leaders are blind. They don't know what direction to go. They're going at some speed, yeah, they're increasing speed of activity at the cost of what? At the cost of progress in spiritual life. They want promotion in everything material, but they want to demote themselves spiritually. So, spiritual means not this explorative, that is speculation. Spiritual means concerning the spirit, the Atma, and the Supreme Spirit, the Paramatma, and our relationship with it. That is spiritual. And spiritual has to be religious. Religion means the order set by the Supreme Spirit, Krishna. Veda Narayana Sakshat. Narayana himself has given the Vedas. He himself is the Vedas. So, he is the one who gave us all these injunctions. What is that? Dharmas Bhagavat Pranitam. Dharmam tu sakshat. Dharmam tu sakshat Bhagavat Pranitam. So the principles are clearly indicated throughout the Bhagavad. So dharma means the injunctions, the laws, the instructions of God, Krishna. Bhagavat Pranitam. So we cannot say that religion is not spiritual, or spirituality and religion are two separate things. Those who are saying that have no brains. It is the same atheistic mentality, but which is rejection of Krishna and his instructions, and just want to be a speculative person, atheistically want to achieve some higher realms of existence. It's not possible. They can be in that hallucination for as much as they want, but it's not anything spiritual. So nate viduhu swarthagatim hi Vishnu. If they do not know that Vishnu or Krishna is the ultimate goal of life, it's like having a GPS. And yeah, your speed may be 150 kilometers an hour. Okay. But if your destination is on is there, and then you are going in another direction, you're not making progress. Progress is
Actually, progress can be defined only when there is a start point, there is an end point which is established, and now how close are you getting to the end point is progress. Progress doesn't only mean how much I'm moving from my starting point, because I can move from my starting point in any direction, right? So that is speed. How much closer am I getting to the end point is progress. What is the end point? So in a GPS, we first what we do, GPS is only useful, it is hardly useful if we do not lock in the destination first. If we don't set the destination in the GPS, for those of you who have used Google Maps and Waze and all this GPS, I mean there's satellite systems. So once you lock in the destination, yes, then you will be guided. So similarly, our destination of life should be known to be Krishna. Krishna is the destination of our life. Not that, oh, everybody has come here for a reason, a reason. No, no, no. The reason. The reason. The reason is we have been rascals. The only reason we are put here, just like the only reason the prisoners are put in the jail, is because they have committed a crime, they have to correct themselves. So similarly, we are criminals because we went against Krishna. We are supposed to be in the spiritual world, enjoying with him. Rascals that we are, we thought, why can't I be God? And Krishna said, okay, fine, you be God. Sent us here. And now we are suffering for lifetime after lifetime, from trillions and gazillions of lifetimes. So that is what we are. So now we have to rectify that. That is the only reason. There's no, oh, we have come here for a reason. Oh, your calling is that. No, no, no. Krishna is calling every damn living entity that is in the spiritual and in the material world. Yeah, it is a damn. We are all damned here. Okay, he is calling every damned living entity in this material world, and it's the same call. Not that, oh, my calling is this, your calling is that, your calling is that. No, no. This is all some crap language. Replace that language. Our Krishna is calling us to come back home and enjoy with him. We being obstinate like a dog, the dog's tail. How much ever you want to make it straight, it will always go back curl. So that's how we are. We don't want to change. So that is our problem. So therefore, the entire apparatus of the material world is designed to nudge us from every direction to come to Krishna consciousness. So Natyavidu Swarthagatam hi Vishnu. So we have to know that Vishnu is the ultimate goal of life. So that is exactly what is stated here. The ultimate goal of progress is Krishna. People do not know this. Therefore, the association of devotees and a bona fide spiritual master are important. We cannot do it on our own. And why we can't do it on our own? 11:22:10 of Srimad Bhagavatam. Anadya vidya yuktasya purushasyaatmavedanam svato na sambhavadanyas tattvajño jnanado bhavet. Because a person who has been covered by ignorance since time immemorial is not capable of effecting his own self-realization, there must be some other personality who is in factual knowledge of the absolute truth and can impart this knowledge to him. And this is the Guru. He cannot do it on his own. Just like if my hands are tied, I need somebody else to untie them. And for him to untie my hands, his hands must be untied. If his hands are also tied, he cannot untie me. So, a bona fide spiritual master is a person whose hands are untied. 554, is this the one? Oh, not this, right? Yeah. Oh, this is the same one. Okay. अतएव दुस्वार्थगतिं हि विष्णुर् दुराशयाय बहिरर्थमानिन अन्धा यथान्धैर उपनीयमानस् ते तन्त्र्याम् उरुदां निबद्धाः. It's the same verse actually, 7.5.31, which is, if they don't know the goal is Krishna and they are involved in these material activities, Bhahirat Durashaya, with great hope, but it's a defeat, I mean, the hope against hope. Yeah? So, hope against hope, Durashaya, ye Bahirarthamanina. They are after external things. And such blind people, led by blind leaders. The whole society is full of blind people. So, they are like, blind is one comparison. The other comparison is Urudamni Baddha, Tepisha Tantriyam Urudamni Baddha. Their hands are tied. Urudamni means very hard, very tightly bound up. Not that, oh, a little bit leeway is there so I can wiggle myself out of this. No, cannot. Urudamni Baddha. So, such leaders, they cannot untie others. So, the leader who is able to untie others' hands and, he can be free, who can free others, has to be free himself first. So, that's why such a spiritual master is required. We cannot do it on our own. One should know that the goal is Krishna. And when the goal is assigned, then the path is slowly but progressively traversed and the ultimate goal is achieved. This is, the sum and substance of the entire Vedic literature, this sentence. One should know that the goal is Krishna, Sambandha. And when the goal is assigned, when the Sambandha is fixed, then the path is slowly but progressively traversed, Abhidheya. And the ultimate goal is achieved, Prayojana. Sambandha, Abhidheya, Prayojana. One sentence. So Prabhupada has condensed the entire teachings of the Vedas into this one sentence here. So you see, this is the goal. That is progress. Dadāmi buddhi-yogaṁ tam yena upayānti te. When a person, the proof of Krishna's real mercy, because he also gives illusory mercy through Maya. Okay? When one is very intelligent materially but has no spiritual intelligence, that is actually illusory benedictions. They are not real benedictions. They are actually curses in the form of benedictions. They say a blessing in disguise. When it looks like a curse, it's actually a blessing in disguise. Well, in the material world, the so-called blessings are curses in disguise. Yeah. And people do not know how to take this as a curse. So, people think that if I'm religious, I'm getting all opulence and that's the sign of religiosity. That's the effect of religiosity. Not really. Not really. It can only be a blessing when it is employed in Krishna's service, otherwise it's a curse. So we think, what we think as blessings are actually curses, and what we think are curses are actually blessings. Because of our illusory, because of our illusion, we cannot see what is what. Pashyanna pina pashyati. We are seeing, we are looking, and still we are not seeing it. And classic example, sometimes even in neophyte devotees, they think, oh, my son is chanting and therefore he went to Cambridge University. By Krishna's mercy, he ended up in Cambridge University or Oxford University or MIT or Harvard or something like this. Well, that is not. When they think that this is the meaning of dadāmi buddhi-yogaṁ tam, oh, he's given him intelligence, he is now in Harvard. That is not. What is intelligence? Krishna classified. What is that intelligence? Yena upayānti te. Therefore, I give him the intelligence by which he can come to me. This material university education will take you away from Krishna. Mayar, what is that? Jada vidya jato mayar vaibhav. Tumar bhajane badha. Bhaktivinoda Thakur has beautifully sung a very instructive song, Vidyar Vilase. He said, this material education is Mayar Vaibhav. It's the opulence and the charm and the tricks of Maya. Huge trick, and it's huge. It's not a small trick. Everybody falls for it. Tomar bhajane badha. It's an obstacle in your service, and it's true for those who are so intelligent, so-called extraordinary materially intelligent. They are so much driven in their own so-called pursuit of excellence in academics, and later on in the professional fields or research fields or whatever. They're actually wasting their time. They think they're very intelligent. Yeah, maybe they have a lot of intelligence, but not employed in Krishna becomes useless. It becomes a vain asset. Vain. It's useless. It's a big gold mine, but used for nothing. So, such people are very much driven into academic growth and later on professional growth. Such. So this is actually a huge, massive distraction from spiritual advancement, because sahanistan mahachhidram samoha sacham vibhramaha janmuhurtam kshanam va vasudevam na chintayet. One moment lost in this limited human life. It's a limited offer. We have human life. It's a limited offer. We have very short time in which we have to make unlimited progress. Unlimited. Because the Vaikuntha is unlimitedly far away from here. Well, how can you make progress if it is unlimited? How much finite progress you make, it is still going to be zero compared to unlimited. Well, the secret to progress is, as I make my efforts in the direction prescribed by Kṛṣṇa, which is to reach him, then Kṛṣṇa will take the rest of the extend his hand, the rest of the infinity, because the distance is infinity. Progress. I have to make infinite progress to reach Kṛṣṇa, because from material world to the spiritual world, right? So how am I going to make it? It's not possible. Yeah, it's not possible on our own. But when we start to make that attempt to please him, Kṛṣṇa is so kind that he will come down and reach out to us and pick us up. There is this beautiful verse, right? Mukundamala Stotra. ध्यायन्ति ये विष्णुम् अनन्तमव्ययम् हृत्पद्ममध्ये सततं व्यवस्थितं समाहितानां सतताभयप्रदं ते यान्ति सिद्धिं परमां तु वैष्णवीम्. Okay, actually it's the next verse, but we will read this translation as well. The unlimited and infallible Vishnu, who is always present within the lotus of the heart, grants fearlessness to those who fix their intelligence upon him. The devotees who meditate on him will reach the supreme perfection of the Vaishnavas. Next verse. It's a beautiful verse. Tattvam prasida bhagavan kuru mayyanathe Vishnu kripam paramakarunikah khalutvam samsara sagara nimagnam ananta dinam uddhartumarhasi hare Purushottamosi. You see, here he said, O Supreme Lord, O Vishnu, you are the most compassionate. So now please show me your favor and bestow your mercy upon this helpless soul. O unlimited Lord, kindly uplift this wretch who is drowning in the ocean of material existence. O Lord Hari, you are the Supreme Personality of God. So he comes down and he extends his hand to hold us and pick us up back home, back to Godhead. So the secret to progress, which is the title of today's class, is to please Kṛṣṇa so that he will enable that progress. As much as it is infinite distance, it is also infinitesimal distance to him at the same time. Like Yashoda Maya, she tried to tie him up with a rope. Unlimited rope was always 2 inches short. But when he agreed, it was possible. What to speak? Even a small piece of thread would have bound him. Not to speak of this long rope. Small piece of thread would have bound him completely. Because, as you know, the pastime, Narada Muni, um, of course, it's a long story. I don't want to tell the whole story because we don't have much time. Narada Muni, the cobbler, the Shuchi and the Muchi, the Brahmana and the cobbler. So both of them asked Narada Muni, how many lives do I have before I can reach and see my Lord? So Brahmana was very proud, and the cobbler was very humble. And this was their background. And anyway, Narada Muni went, and then he asked, how long will the Brahmana have to wait before he reaches you? He asked Narayana. And then Narayan said, well, he has 100 more lives. Okay. And how many lives does that cobbler have? Narayana said, well, he's sitting under that banyan tree and he's doing his cobbler work. How many leaves there are on the banyan tree? That many lives he has. You may ask, hey, come on, hey, Narayana is discriminating between Brahmana and Shudra or Chandala. Because cobbler is, you have to deal with animal skins, animal flesh, dead animal skins and all that. So this is not a very, um, prestigious profession. Although nowadays, Kali Yuga, thanks to Kali Yuga, brands like Gucci and what is that all what is that Gino one? I don't know. I can't even pronounce. What is that? Gino one. What is that? GINO something. VANNI something like this. All these big luxury bag these ladies buy, with $5,000, $10,000, all made of leather, exquisite cow leather. Muchi and they think that is prestige now. Oh, to have a Gucci bag and all this. What is that? Giorgio Armani. What is it? This is the one. So, so these kind of bags, Gucci bags and all this, how premium leather, this. It's stupid. It's the most undignified profession of the Vedic age. Now it is the most dignified. Brahmana, most undignified now. Anybody who's a Brahmana doing preaching, Arey yaar, why are you wasting your life? You're a young man, you can earn your living. Why are you here? That's how they, So, Kali Yuga. So anyway, so Narayana said this answers. Narada Muni said, wow. So they asked, what if, I have to prove myself that this is your statements, that this person has 100 lives, this person has as many lives as the leaves on the tree, and banyan tree has many leaves, 1,000 millions. So they may not believe that I actually came to you. They may think that I just made it up. What is the proof that I saw you? What do I say if they ask me, what was Lord Narayan doing when you went there? What should I say? Narayan said, you tell them that he was threading an elephant through the eye of the needle. The needle has an eye, the hole from which the thread we threaded. So I am putting an elephant through the hole of the needle. Tell them this. So yeah, okay. Then he went to the Brahmana, back to the earth. Went to the Brahmana. Oh, Narada Muni, so fast you have come. Oh, good. Well, did you actually go to Vaikuntha or just went there and came back? No, I went there. Okay. So what did he say? He said you have 100 lives. I knew. You just went there and came back, right? You did not go to Vaikuntha. I don't think Narayana would say that. You did not. You came so fast. I don't think you went there. Okay. Okay, tell me what he was doing. Well, he was putting an elephant through the hole of the needle. There you have it. There. That is impossible. What are you talking about? This is not even possible. Okay, thank you for your answer. He went away. Proud Brahmana. Cobbler. Well, how many lives do I have? Oh, sage Narada Muni. Oh, you have as many lives as the leaves on this tree. Really? That means after this many lives, he's going to actually see me? I thought he will never see me. The sinful person that I am. wow, Krishna has actually agreed to see me. Then he was dancing. Then, um, what was he doing? I'm very curious what my Lord is doing there. Well, he is threading an elephant through the eye of the needle. Wow, only my Lord can do this. Who? The most impossible things he can do with ease. This is my Lord. Yes, I'm very happy that you have given me the knowledge of his pastimes, and that Krishna has actually agreed to see me, and he danced in ecstasy. He was dancing so much, all the leaves on the tree fell down except for one leaf was there. That means after this life he was going back. So why did I tell that? So the Lord, for him, difficult things are very easy. He can put an elephant into the hole of the needle. Nothing for him. No, no. How does he do it? Can you explain to me how to? No. Well, you cannot understand. You cannot understand. That's the point. Bhagavan means he can do something which you cannot understand. You cannot comprehend. Otherwise, what kind of Bhagavan he is? Yeah. So, our distance to Krishna is infinite. How can we traverse infinite distance? It is impossible. Yes, it is impossible for us, not for the Lord. The Lord can make infinite into infinitesimal, just like the elephant he made into micro size into the eye of the needle. He can do anything. Anything. So, that is the secret to progress, to serve Krishna with affection, prīti-pūrvakam. And prīti-pūrvakam, this verse is very important. एवं मनः कर्म वशं प्रयुङ्क्ते अविद्ययात्मन्युपधीयमाने प्रीतिर्न यावन्मयि वासुदेवे न मुच्यते देहयोगेन तावत्. You see, the word here is used प्रीतिर्न यावन्मयि वासुदेवे. Priti, love, prīti-pūrvakam. When the living entity is covered by the mode of ignorance, he does not understand the individual living being and the supreme living being, and his mind is subjugated by fruitive activity. Therefore, until one has love for Lord Vasudeva, who is none other than myself, he is certainly not delivered from having to accept a material body again and again. So, this is what happens when we engage in material activities. Now, we want to go back to Godhead, right? In that verse 10:10, teṣāṁ satata-yuktānāṁ bhajatāṁ prīti-pūrvakam dadāmi buddhi-yogaṁ yena mam upayānti te. We want that yena mam upayānti te, that we want to go closer to Krishna and go back to Godhead, Vaikuntha. That we want. But when there is a word in English which describes a person who wants the result, but who does not want to put in the work needed, the effort needed. And the word is entitled. Entitled. We want to be entitled. We feel entitled to the result. Oh, I deserve it. I want to go back to home. Yes, yes. That is wishful thinking. Yes, we should want to go back and serve Krishna. But we have to put in the work needed. And the work is what? Satata-yuktānāṁ, bhajatāṁ, prīti-pūrvakam. Then, once we do these two things, always engaging Krishna with love, then Krishna will do his part. Dadāmi buddhi-yogaṁ tam, yena mam upayānti te. And he not only gives us the intelligence, in the background, he does other things as well. He makes the arrangement, Because even with intelligence also, how much can we do on our own? Krishna has to pick us up and take us back, right? Ananyāścintayanto mam ye janāha paryupāsate teṣāṁ nityabhiyuktānāṁ yogakshemam vahamyaham. 2 times. Ananyāścintayanto mam. Again, satata-yuktānāṁ, ananyāścintayanto mam. bhajatāṁ prīti-pūrvakam ananyāscintayantam, same thing. Pari upasate, teṣāṁ nityabhiyuktānāṁ and satata-yuktānāṁ is exactly the same thing. Teṣāṁ satata-yuktānāṁ, teṣāṁ nityabhiyuktānāṁ, same thing. What happens to them? Kṛṣṇa, what he does? Yoga kṣemam vahamyaham. Is what he does. But those who always worship me with exclusive devotion, meditating on my transcendental form, to them I carry what they lack and I preserve what they have. What does this mean? Oh, you don't have money, I will give you money. Well, maybe he may do that. Or if he thinks money may be a distraction to us, maybe he will not give us. That may or may not happen. What does he mean by, carry what they lack? First of all, even in material life, everything will be nicely provided for him. He does not have to worry about his maintenance. Kṛṣṇa will provide for him. Okay, that's actually not the real meaning of this. I carry what they lack, and I preserve what they have means what? Nobody will steal my things. I make it. Prabhupada went to America and his typewriter got stolen. His entire manuscript of Bhagavad-gītā got stolen. And he had to start all over again. So, Prabhupada, his business, he was a grihastha. Somebody cheated him, whole business gone. His manager cheated him. He took away the whole business from him. What do you mean preserve what they have? Kṛṣṇa is not putting up his promise. What is happening? So, the real meaning of these, I carry what they lack and I preserve what they have, is that he will carry the remainder of responsibility of taking us back home, back to Godhead. Our responsibility is we have to be sincerely engaged in his service. But the mechanics, the entire logistics of taking us back, we have zero control over it. We don't even know how to go there. We can only be obedient to Kṛṣṇa and hope that Kṛṣṇa will be satisfied with our obedience and take us back. Otherwise, I don't have a pathway. I don't know how am I going to go. Where is the pathway to Vaikuntha? I don't know. But one thing I know is I can be obedient to the Guru and Kṛṣṇa. Then by their mercy, they will take us back. This is what I mean by I carry what they lack. Because we lack the vision, we lack the understanding of how this even works. What are the logistics of all this? The scientists are sending spacecraft after spacecraft in exploration of the universe. And they don't even know what is there. Where and how to go to Vaikuntha, we have no clue. The entire logistics, we don't have any control over that. So we are lacking that. We don't have any control at all. The only thing we can do is sincerely serve Kṛṣṇa according to the order of the spiritual master. Serve Kṛṣṇa means to follow the order of the spiritual master. Where did I read that? Just recently. The greatest tapasya in this universe is to unflinchingly carry out the order of the spiritual master no matter what. I don't know where I read that. I forgot. Prabhupada says, the greatest tapasya is to carry out this work, the order of the spiritual master no matter what. Like what Prabhupada did. He went at the age of 69 on a ship, small ship. The other day I went to the beach here in Singapore with Sundar Prabhu. And I was sitting with him. And we were looking into the horizon, into the sea. And, it was not a very beautiful sight because the entire horizon, the entire water is covered with so many ships, more than 100 ships. Okay? And we were just looking at them. And I asked Prabhu, because, in his young days, in his teenage days, he used to work at a shipyard, dock, for, like a part-time job when he was a student or something. to pay for his fees. He used to work part time at a dock somewhere, and he used to do some work there. So he knew something about ships. So I just asked, Prabhu, these so many ships are here. How big would Prabhupada's ship be in front of these ships? Which of these ships would compare to Prabhupada's ship's size? Prabhu said it was a 10,000 tonner, which is like a matchbox on the ocean, which is like it's a nothing in the ocean. And I said, okay, 10,000 tonner. Okay, that ship, how much tonnage would that be? Minimum 100,000. What? That is 100,000. Then 10,000 is 10 times smaller than that. It's like nothing. Prabhu said, yeah, it's nothing. And I just searched up on Google there. What is the biggest ship in the world? 573 or something 573,000 tons. 500,000 tons. Okay. And Prabhupada's was a 10,000 tonner. It's 50 times smaller than the biggest ship in the world now. So I was like, wow, that puts things into perspective. And we are just watching it from the vantage point of the beach. Imagine being in the ocean. You're not on the land to look at a beach at your own comfort, but you're in the ocean, and all around you to the farthest point you can see is water, and you are on a small little matchbox. The risk that he took, that is tapasya. And what for? He had nothing to achieve in America, executing the order of the spiritual master. 69. He would have easily said, should have started earlier. Well, life is finished. Now I'm 69. I better not go anywhere, because if I go there, maybe if I die, then I won't die in Vrindavan. Then what will happen? Maybe I won't even go back to Godhead. Let me just stay in Vrindavan. No. Never mind, I die somewhere in a foreign land. Nobody knows. Never mind, I may never be able to return to Vrindavan. He was on the other side of the ocean, was death staring at him. Death. There was no materially calculable way for him to have any success. But the rest is history. So I carry what they lack and I preserve what they have. And of course, there is Prabhupada, and he is already with Godhead. He came on behalf of Kṛṣṇa, so that he's different. He is not lacking in anything actually, because he is with Yatra Yogeshwara Kṛṣṇa, Yatra Partha Dhanurdhara, Tatra Srir Vijayo Bhutir Dhruva Nitir Matir Mama. Wherever there is Kṛṣṇa, you don't have to be a yogi. You have the Yogeshwar. so the master and the Lord and the supreme master of yoga, when he is there with you, like a big person who is trained in martial arts, he may be very strong. A child, in comparison, is not strong. But when behind the child is standing the most powerful man in the world, nobody can touch the child. Nobody. So, similarly, there may be many yogis in the Himalayas, this and that, and even in the higher planets, Janaloka, Tapoloka, Satyaloka. But when Kṛṣṇa is there, Yatra Yogeshwara Kṛṣṇa, Yatra Partha Dhanurdhara, Tatra Srir Vijayo Bhutir Dhruva Nitir Matir Mama. Everything. This is what we lack. I mean, materially, even spiritually. We may lack the direction. We don't even know how everything happens. Kṛṣṇa has to take us back. For him to take us back, he has to be pleased. So he's not going to come to take us back. He says, Maya, you know what to do. Keep doing to him what you know what to do until he purifies himself, and let's see, then I will attend to him. That's what Kṛṣṇa will say. So we have to please Kṛṣṇa. And what will please Kṛṣṇa? Kṛṣṇa says, this is what you do. teṣāṁ satata-yuktānāṁ bhajatāṁ prīti-pūrvakam. then yes, I will be pleased, and dadāmi buddhi-yogaṁ. I will give him the intelligence how to come back to me. Not only he gives the intelligence, he makes the entire apparatus ready for us to go back. For him, it's just a second, less than a second. He can take us back. And preserve what they have. What does he preserve? He preserves our advancement in devotional service. We may lose materially even after coming to Krishna consciousness. Doesn't matter. Whatever we have done spiritually, neha bhikramanashostu pratyavayo navidyate. So pratyavayo navidyate swalpamapyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. So even little progress in devotional service, he preserves that. Even though we may fall down from that standard, he preserves that. And once we are rectified by Maya, we will resume from where we left off. And that is out there also in the 6th chapter, 640 to 45. He explains how Shuchinam Srimatam Gehe, the failed transcendentalist, he is not a complete failure. Momentary fall down, but he will come back again. So this is what the preservation of the Lord is. He preserves our bhakti to him. So in this way, he is protecting us from all sides, giving us what we lack, preserving what we already have, even though we may be shaky and not so fixed up. He will, even the little bit we have done for him, sevam managapi kritam bahuda upayānti. Hrityasya pashyati gurun api naparadhan sevam managapi kritam bahudha bhyupayati avishkaroti pishuneshvapi nabhyasuyam shīlena nirmalamatihi purushottamoyam. Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is known as Purushottama, the greatest of all persons, has a pure mind. He is so gentle that even if his servant is implicated in a great offense, he does not take it very seriously. Of course, if we offend pure devotees, he takes it very seriously. Okay? He will punish like anything. It's any other offense. Indeed, if his servant renders some small service, the Lord accepts it as being very great. Sevam managapi kritam bahudha bhyupayate. Even if an envious person blasphemes the Lord never manifests anger against him. Such are his great qualities. Now you may say, what is this? No, he is putting people in hell for not worshipping him. Because they are not worshipping Krishna, he is putting them in hell, making them rot in hell. What is this? You are saying is so gentle? That anger of the Lord with which he puts the souls in hell and everything. You know what that anger is? That anger is like the father who beats his child when his child goes and steals something from the neighbor's house and brings it home. The father beats the hell out of him until he cries and goes to sleep crying. Body all hurting like anything. He may beat him, but for what reason? Never do that mistake again. So here, what is our mistake? He is angry because he wants to see us happy. We are doing things which will make us unhappy. He's angry. It's not that, oh, you're not serving me, that's why I will punish you. No. You do not know how to be happy. You're doing things which are detrimental to your progress. So I must punish you. I must put you in hell. You suffer. It's good for you. You come to your senses. That is the anger. For our own benefit, he is angry with us. So yes, he's never angry for his own. You blaspheme the Lord is not angry. You see, the pastime of Shishupala, 100 offenses he did, he tolerated Krishna. Finally, he killed him. Why? I will not tolerate any more offense to me. No, that was not the mood. If he continues committing offenses, it's not good for him. Better end his body, start afresh. Of course, in this case, Shishupala, because he's killed by Krishna, he's liberated him. So, by committing offenses to Krishna, he would have, committed sinful activities like that. But Krishna saved him from all of that, killed him. So it is not that he cannot tolerate, I tolerated enough, 100, 101, kill him. That's not the mood. He could not control himself anymore. No, not good for him to do so. End his body. If he was killed by anything else, yeah, at least his body would have ended and then he would have started anew. But because I am killing, I mean, Krishna's perspective, because Krishna is killing, he will get liberation. Committing offense, never mind. Liberate. It's a merciful act of Krishna, not an act of anger. It looks like an act of anger, it's not. So his punishment and his benediction are both the same. So this is the absolute nature of the Lord. There's no duality. There's no difference in his anger and his love. It is all love of the Lord. So when it is said that he is a friend of everyone, he is the friend of everyone no matter what. He's always our friend. He not only, suhridam sarvabhutanam. This means that Krishna is the friend of everyone. That does not mean that he's not. Suhridam sarvabhutanam means he's a friend of everyone, and we cannot say that. Oh, how come he's friend of everyone? He's putting everybody in punishment and everybody is suffering. If God is there, why there is suffering? They'll ask always. Well, I already explained the reason. Sometimes we think, Krishna is the friend because he has, written the. He has given us the Vedas for our guidance, and he sends acharyas, and he gives us the intelligence to follow the instructions and everything. Yes, even otherwise, the person who's rotting in hell, the person who's in the animal life, Krishna is still his friend. Then why is he suffering in animal life? Well, this is all the chain of karma and everything. But Krishna is there in the heart of the dog also, the pig also. And, of course, giving him intelligence from within him through intuition, that, to get their eating, mating, sleeping, defending going on. But more than that, it is a term of existence where they purge their past sinful reactions in those bodies. So you may say that what is the benefit of a person suffering when he does not even know why he is suffering? The answer to this is because if there is punishment, if I know why I'm being punished, then I will rectify myself. But these animals, they are being punished, but they don't know why they are being punished, because they can't understand that I'm a soul, I'm a servant of Krishna, but I left him and all. They cannot even be made to understand. As compared to, contrasting them with humans, we can at least, be preached to by devotees. Animals can't even be preached to. What is the point of them suffering when they don't even know why they are suffering? And they cannot even be made known. They cannot even be informed about it. The reason is they are so much in ignorance that instruction is just, they are beyond the jurisdiction of instruction. Nothing good will go into their brain. And they have accumulated such vast amounts of sinful activities. Now, for them to come eventually closer to the point where they can understand these instructions and make progress, they have to first of all purge all their sinful activities. So, Krishna is so kind that he puts them in life forms. You see the kindness of Krishna. He puts them in life forms of animals where they cannot commit further karma. He excuses them of, like, for example, a lion killing another lion cub, its own species, is not considered sinful. The animals, they can kill anything and they only act on instinct and they are not judged. So, because they are so fallen that, he gave them a chance of in a life where they are not judged. You will be judged if you have the intelligence to discriminate between right and wrong and you still do the wrong, and then you will be, of course, punished. But if you do not know anything, what is right and what is wrong, then what is the point of punishment, right? So he puts them in life forms where they cannot perform more karmic activity. At the same time, their past stock of karmic reactions, they can go through that, and in that way, each lifetime that they spend in animal life, their past sinful stock is being purged, you know, in batches each lifetime. So in that way, they become purified and purified and purified, and eventually and one day they may come to human life, and then they may contact devotees if they're fortunate, and then eventually make it back to Godhead. So it's a very, very compassionate act on the part of the Lord to actually create species in which you cannot have the understanding of the spiritual, cannot have the understanding or discrimination between what is right and wrong, because then you can be excused of further. Because if he's just going to do sinful activities and sinful activities and sinful activities, there's no end for his suffering. If every life he can decide what to do and what not, he has accumulated so much already, and then he will just go down. Even if he's given human life, he will just use it in a wrong way because he's so sinful. So no, 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 you don't deserve human life, and I don't want you to misuse human life as well. So you be in animal life and purge all the things, and you will gradually come to human life. In the process of that whole thing, if by fortune they contact devotees, maybe he's now in the process of his evolution from body to body to body, he's currently in a dog's body, say, or a pig's body, and then the devotees throw some prasadam there, and then the dog eats. You know, sometimes when they eat regularly like that, and the next life will be a huge jump, massive jump over all these other species which he had to otherwise have undergone. He will jump and come to human life, or very close to human life. Human life. So that's a massive jump. Even as a plant, if some fortune is there somewhere, devotee will pluck the flowers, or they will be devotee may not pluck it, but somebody else may pluck it, and eventually it comes to a shop somewhere, and devotee may purchase it. Somehow or other, the flower goes to Krishna's lotus feet, and that plant gets the benefit. So, what is that? Just now we have heard. Yoga kshemam vahamyaham. He preserves what we have. Why some trees, same species, maybe a frangipani tree, very sweet smelling flower. Some are very far away from a temple, nobody actually plucks their flowers, but some, somehow or other, it is within the devotees thing, or somehow they end up in a shop where devotees buy it. So who is maintaining all these logistics? We think we are arranging all the logistics. Yes, there is shipping company. Okay, the flowers are in a cold, cold shipping this thing, and we are thinking we are doing all these logistics. There is far more subtle logistics going on within this so-called gross logistics that we are doing. There is a unlimited plan of movement of living entities going on behind the scenes, the movement of the souls. So, Ishvara Sarvabhutanam Hriddesha Arjuna Tishtati Brahmayan Sarvabhutani Yantra Rudhani Mayaya. Brahmayan means wandering, the wanderings of Sarvabhutani, all species of life, all souls in all species of life. The Supreme Lord is situated in everyone's heart, O Arjuna, and is directing the wanderings of all living entities who are seated as on a machine made of the material energy. So this is the Lord's grand arrangement for our benefit. So if we just try to understand this and see everything as the act of the Lord, which it is, it's not that we have to imagine it is the act of the Lord. We are imagining it to be something else. That is our current state is of imagination. When we come out of this imagination, we will realize that everything is the act of God for our benefit. Krishna does everything for our benefit. And understanding that well enough, we have to take to his devotional service. That will be the perfection of our life. I think we did not come to the end of that verse, right? The purport of that verse. We'll read that. Um, He should perform some sort of work for Krishna, and that work should be with love. So, oh yeah, okay, this we have not read. People do not know this, that the ultimate goal of progress is Krishna. Therefore, the association of devotees and a bona fide spiritual master are important. One should know that the goal is Krishna, and when the goal is assigned, then the path is slowly but progressively traversed and the ultimate goal is achieved. When a person knows the goal of life but is addicted to the fruits of activities, he is acting in Karma Yoga. This is the definition of Karma Yoga, where he knows the goal of life but is addicted to the fruits of activities. Then he is acting in Karma Yoga. So this is Karma Mishra Bhakti. So this is not a perfect state. He has to elevate himself. But it is good he is doing something, but it is not good enough for him to go back to Godhead in this lifetime. When he knows that the goal is Krishna, but he takes pleasure in mental speculations to understand Krishna, he is acting in Jnana Yoga. And when he knows the goal and seeks Krishna completely in Krishna consciousness and devotional service, he is acting in Bhakti Yoga or Buddhi Yoga. See the status of Buddhi Yoga, how high it is. It is actually Bhakti Yoga, which is the complete yoga. This complete yoga is the highest perfectional stage of life. A person may have a bona fide spiritual master. This is important. A person may have a bona fide spiritual master and may be attached to a spiritual organization. But if he is still not intelligent enough to make progress, then Krishna from within gives him instructions so that he may ultimately come to him without difficulty. So, here we have to understand a couple of things. A person who has a he was a guru and he was attached to organization, that means he's associating with devotees, but he's not intelligent enough to make progress. Then Krishna from within gives him instructions so that he may ultimately come to him. What does this mean? Oh, all those pandits who are learning shlokas, Krishna does not directly come to give him instructions from within. I don't know any shlokas, so Krishna will give me. Therefore, I am better than them. Not like this. So, from within means, he gives situations in life. So many ways. I can go on describing how Krishna, some of them, I cannot describe enough. The ways in which Krishna brings us by sometimes encouraging, sometimes discouraging us from the material way by giving us bitter experiences of material life, and sometimes encouraging us on the spiritual path, sometimes correcting us on the spiritual path, warning us, don't do these mistakes on the spiritual path, you will go down. So in this way, so many ways, through situations, through association of devotees teaching us, by reading books, and while reading we get those realizations, while doing service we get realizations. So in this way, right, we are guided by Krishna. And here it is said, if he is not intelligent enough to make progress, then Krishna will give him instructions. Well, what about those who are intelligent? Krishna does not give him instructions from within? He does. So, because even with one's intelligence, he cannot make progress on his own. Krishna has to give instructions from within. Means it's not that Krishna will come in a dream and suddenly talk something. No. Why? Why should we be so audacious and presumptuous to think that Krishna will directly come and tell me what to do? Well, he's already telling. What are the books for? Is that not Krishna directly talking? Shri Bhagavan Uvacha means what? No. That he spoke to Arjuna. I want him to speak to me personally. Talk to me Bhagavadgītā. Well, Krishna's Bhagavadgītā is for everyone. And it is Bhagavadgītā to me as much as it is for Arjuna. So, Krishna is already talking to us. Problem is we are not listening. We are not listening to what Krishna is saying. And we want him to talk to us. He's talking to us. All the time he's talking to us. We are not listening. When am I going to start listening to him? And that's when we will start making progress. So, for example, I'll give you one example. Okay, has Guru has attached to a bona fide spiritual organization, and not intelligent enough. Now, maybe he doesn't attend classes, he doesn't read, he doesn't take his service seriously. Krishna will give instructions from within. How does he do? Just now, in the verse he said, whoever is always engaging in my service without deviation, for them I give them the intelligence. Here, Krishna Prabhupada is saying, for those who have no intelligence, have Guru and this thing, and Krishna will give him instruction. What is this? So here, we always don't, first of all, we always don't have sufficient intelligence to go back to Krishna. We will never have. Because Krishna is infinite. We cannot reach him with our intelligence. We cannot. Adhokshaja, asamordhva. So we cannot. So it's always him picking us up. We have already gone through that extensively. Now, for those who are not so intelligent, what is the meaning of not so intelligence? That means he cannot read and write properly. No. That may be, yes, one of the descriptions of. But not intelligent means not taking to the instructions earnestly. Like, yes, I'm reading, but how much am I actually earnestly putting in to practice, and how much sincere am I in actually executing the order of the spiritual master for my own benefit? Not when somebody is watching, just make a show of being a nice devotee. No. How much am I actually interested in becoming a good devotee of Krishna? So, when we don't have that sincerity, that is a sign of less intelligence. A sign of less intelligence. When that happens, then, how does Krishna give instruction? What is that meaning? Well, this is one of the many ways in which Krishna does it. For example, this is a scary one, but yeah, when we don't have intelligence, when we're not sincere, sometimes Krishna has to give us a whack on our head. Then we will wake up. Shri Bhagavan Yasya Anugrahanami Harishyetad Dhanam Shanaihi Tato Dhanam Tyajantyasya Swajana Dukkha Dukkhitam. The personality of Godhead said, if I especially favor someone, I gradually deprive him of his wealth. Then the relatives and friends of such a poverty-stricken man abandon him. In this way, he suffers one distress after another. And then he tries. The so-called devotee who lost his wealth, he will try to get more wealth. Sayada vitathodyogo nirvinnah syad dhane haya mat paraihi kritamaitrasya karishye madanugraham. When he becomes frustrated in his attempts in plural, that means he had made multiple attempts to regain that wealth again, in his attempts to make money. When he becomes frustrated in his attempts to make money and instead befriends my devotees, I bestow my special mercy upon him. So this is what he does when we are interested so much in material life. He wants to cut short our material life. Come on, enough. Come back to me. So he will give some bitter experience, but never mind. I know you are you are uncomfortable, but I have to give you this lesson. So he takes away, and then he makes us suffer. So that is one way, and then the devotees, and then all sides, Chaitya Guru, Diksha Guru, Shiksha Guru, Vartma Pradarshaka Guru, many ways, and situations in life. Maya also indirectly acts as a guru, because she will make material life bitter. Suppose I'm a devotee, but I'm very comfortable in material life. Something happens, and then the whole thing, my life turns upside down. What is that? Those situations are engineered by Maya, also, of course, through the sanction of Krishna. So those are also impetuses for us to understand. For example, suddenly I get a news that I have a terminal illness. I'm going to die in a few days, or a few months, or a couple of years. What will I do? Of course, one may seek medical aid, but more importantly, if one is sufficiently learned, then he will start to, okay, it's the end of my life. Well, what Parikshit Maharaj did, he did not go for doctor and or some tantric, to get some counter cursing, and he himself could have done, but he did not do anything of that. He just went and heard Bhagavatam. So one becomes more serious if there is imminent danger. So sometimes therefore these stressful conditions are sometimes necessary for us to take immediate action. In those stressful conditions, there is no multiple options at the time. When life is relaxed, you have multiple options. You can do this, you can do that, you can do this, you can do that. In the end, what happens is we do nothing, or we do nothing that is actually productive. We'll get, you know, carried away by, in rabbit holes of unnecessary things. But when you have a serious deadline, you're going to be dead, suppose, or something that serious happens, like our loved one, we lose our loved ones. It sends a shock in the system. Our relaxed nature is just shaken up like that. And then we become laser focused in such situations. So sometimes these are therefore necessary. And it is actually the blessing of the Lord. Even if the devotees face this kind of stuff, they're not bewildered. Oh, what is this? I have become a devotee and Krishna is still doing this to me. How come? I don't think this is maybe right. Even Krishna maybe may not even be there. I will go into the other path. You know. So that means no faith. So, but if we have that faith, yes, we know how exactly Krishna is working, and then we will be at peace. And yeah, whatever. Because anyway, this body is supposed to go tomorrow or after 100 years, it will go. So the main thing is to be engaged in Krishna's service before the body has fallen down and died. Okay. Um, the qualification is that a person always engage himself in Krishna consciousness and with love and devotion render all kinds of services. So this is what we have to do. This is how we become qualified in order to become a recipient of Krishna's mercy. To qualify, we have to do this. He should perform some sort of work for Krishna, and that work should be with love. Voluntarily, I must engage my energy, my time, my money in Krishna's service. That is what Krishna wants to see. If a devotee is not intelligent enough to make progress on the path of self realization, but is sincere and devoted to the activities of devotional service, the Lord gives him a chance to make progress and ultimately attain to Him. And it's not that if a devotee is not intelligent enough to make progress, we will never be intelligent enough. Okay, the intelligence means to be obedient to the order of the spiritual master. Even in the execution of such order, we may not be intelligent enough. Krishna will make it successful if we are sincere. So, this is the secret actually to success, to progress. Adherence, unflinching adherence to the order of the spiritual master. Ekeha Kurunandana. Ekeha Kurunandana. That's what is needed. And that will qualify us to become recipients of Krishna's mercy, and then Krishna will make the necessary logistical arrangements for us to go back to Krishna. All right. Thank you very much, and I'll take any questions if we have. We do have some. I'm sorry for that sound problem in the beginning for the first 17 minutes. I did not take note that the mic wasn't even right in front of me. Okay, so Lil Man. During war, Krishna could be observed blowing a trumpet. I don't have much knowledge, but I felt it coincided with the Jews' illustration of the Bible. I love the Hebrew Bible, yet as elusive as it sounds. Well, he did not blow a trumpet, he blew a conch shell. Conch. Panchjanya. Okay, what is next? The super soul is manifested to the individual soul according to the individual's comparative department of knowledge. Sorry, comparative development of knowledge. Yeah, austerity, penance, and so on. So this is the is manifested. Actually, the super soul is already there, but he's manifested when we advance. So Krishna will reveal more of himself, being pleased with it, just like how Garuda helped the sparrow. Yeah. So the sparrow story is that um, he laid his eggs. She laid her eggs um, on the beach, on the shore of the ocean, and then she went somewhere to get some food or some nest or something. And then in the meantime, the ocean took her eggs into the waters. The wave came, and then so the sparrow asked the ocean, "Please give me return my eggs." And the ocean was, where the ocean will listen. So um, then what the sparrow did? He took up some water, and then with his beak, and then went and threw it somewhere, and then come back. So he was determined to empty the ocean to find the eggs, her eggs, and then get it back. So he was determinedly doing it, and other birds were laughing at this. Huh, what is he thinking? What is she thinking? So then Garuda, eventually the news went viral, like a social media post, viral post. It went viral. And Garuda, the king of birds, came to know. Then he came to know and he came down and challenged the ocean. You better give those eggs back, or I'm going to now take up the task of emptying these waters. If I do, it will be finished in no time. So better you. Then the eggs got returned to the sparrow. So the thing is, it is impossible. It is infinite task for the sparrow to, and it's not even possible. That's why it is laughable, right? But that determination sparked the interest and the affection of a person like Garuda. So in our case, it will spark the interest of Krishna. So our way, making our way back to Krishna, we may not be capable at all. We are not capable at all. We don't even know anything how the spiritual world is and where the direction is and how to even go there. We have zero direction. We are just depending on Krishna's intervention, the divine intervention of Krishna. What we have to do is we have to qualify for that intervention to happen. Or rather, let me put it this way. Mala 36. अंधस्य मे हृतविवेकमहाधनस्य चौरैः प्रभो बलिभिरिन्द्रियनामधेयैः मोहान्धकूपकुहरे विनिपातितस्य देवेश देहि कृपणस्य करावलम्बम्. O Lord, the powerful thieves of my senses have blinded me by stealing my most precious possession, my discrimination, and they have thrown me deep into the pitch dark well of delusion. My senses are so ruthless. Please, O Lord of the Lords, extend your hand and save this wretched soul. Extend your hand and save this wretched soul. We have to be eager to hold on. Another nice verse is there in the purport of this. This is from Rupa Goswami. Beautiful verse. Stavamala. मनसिज फणिजुष्टे लब्धपातोऽस्मि दुष्टे तिमिरगहन रूपे हन्त संसारकूपे अजित निखिल रक्षा हेतुमुद्धार दक्षाम् उपनय मम हस्ते भक्तिरज्जुं नमस्ते. Alas, I have fallen into the deep, dark, filthy well of samsara, in which the viper or the snake of sex desire dwells. So I am in a deep, dark well, filthy well. Nothing good about how it sounds. And added to that is a snake there. O invincible Lord, the rope of devotional service is the cause of universal protection. The rope of devotion, and is expert at delivering the fallen souls. Please please place that rope in my hand. I offer my respectful obeisance unto you. Now, when the rope is let down, what I have to do? I cannot come up on my own. But when the rope is let down, one thing I can do is hold on to the rope tightly. I can do at least that much. Well, that needs a lot of strength to hold on to the rope tightly, because it will slip and our muscles will give way after a certain time. If by the time we come all the way up, maybe we'll lose that strength and we'll again slip and fall down. So we have to have strength in order to hold on to the rope for that long. And that strength we will get from Balaram. If we engage in Krishna conscious activities, we'll get the strength to even hold on to the rope. To hold on to the instructions of Prabhupada, we get the strength from doing our sadhana. The 16 rounds and 4 regulative principles, all these things are eating prasadam, association of devotees, shravanam, kirtanam, reading, hearing, chanting, all these things, preaching, all kinds of activities. This intense involvement or engagement in Krishna conscious service will give us the necessary strength in order to face Maya and hold on to the instructions ever more tightly, so that we can effect our release from this material world. So the rope is there, and somebody to pull the rope at the top is also there, Krishna. Now we have to hold on to the rope. In a similar mood, Raghunath Das Goswami says the following in the 5th verse of Mana Shiksha. Asacheshta kashta pradavikata pashalibhiriha prakamam kamadi prakatapatapate vyatikarai gale badvahanye hamiti bakabhid vartmapagane kurutvam putkaran avati sayathatvam mana itaha. The highwaymen of lust and his accomplices, greed, etc., have waylaid me and bound my neck with the horrible ropes of sinful activities. Means my mind, my senses, the lust and his accomplices, greed, kama, krodha, lobha, moha, and all this. Highwaymen, that means they are the highway robbers. They have pulled me aside and bound me by the neck with the horrible ropes of sinful activities. O mind, please scream out for help, crying, O Krishna, O killer of Paka, I am on the verge of death. If you do this, then Krishna will certainly save me. So that means he's asking the mind, O mind, please call out for Krishna. If you do this, then Krishna will save me. So again, the same thing. We have to hold on tight. Singapore is one of the biggest ports in the world. You will see ships everywhere. Yes. Hmm. 428.50. In other words, to execute the will of the spiritual master, the disciple should be prepared to lay down his life and abandon all personal considerations. This is also very close to that, that thing that I was saying. Daniel is saying, Hare Krishna, my spiritual master Kadamba Kanana Swami, his spiritual master is Jayadvaita Swami. In my heart, I see him as the bad guy for changing Prabhupada's books. Is this thinking wrong or not? What is more wrong is to not follow the order of Srila Prabhupada. The order of Prabhupada was that we should be Prabhupada's disciples, actually, not anybody else's. So the offense that they did, the more serious offense is one thing. Yes, the books should not be allowed to be changed all the time. Yes, if they have to be brought back to what Prabhupada wanted them to be, that's fine. But no unwarranted changes should be done. We agree to that. Now the more important thing is the ruination of our movement came came about with this Diksha Guru system, which was the mother of all offenses, and it produced so many offspring offenses which are continuing to this day and will continue in the future if this is not stopped. So Prabhupada, you know, instituted that whoever in the future becomes a disciple becomes his disciple, and he gave it in writing. It's in black and white. There is absolutely no ambiguity in his instruction. Still, his ambitious disciples took up the post of guru, and as you said, Jayadvaita Swami, Kadambakana Swami. So all these persons are never supposed to be Diksha Gurus. Siksha Gurus, yes. Yes. So when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Jare dekha tarikaha Kṛṣṇa upadesh, that's not talking about Diksha Guru. That's talking about Siksha Guru. Siksha Guru. Because how can even a small child follow this instruction of Jare dekha tarikaha Kṛṣṇa upadesh? He can. He just has to repeat. So he doesn't have to have especially high grades of realization, but if he just repeats what he has heard from the perfect source, and that is perfect. So that will act. So that is preaching. So Siksha Gurus, yes, they can always be Siksha Gurus. And we would have respected them so much if they were Siksha Gurus. But they took up this post of Diksha Guru and accepted all kind of worship, which is not, they don't deserve that. It's an insult. I mean, recently Nimanita Prabhu showed in his class the Prithu Maharaj's statements where, and from the fourth canto, where it is clearly stated that, when Prithu Maharaj became a king, then immediately everybody glorified him. And he said, don't glorify me. I have not done anything. I just starting. I have not done. If you say this after I've done something, yeah, otherwise it's like an insult. So, to say that, oh, if you were educated, then you would have been a very great lawyer. That is an insult. That's not a praise. Because he did not do it and he is not a lawyer and he is not educated. So, oh, if you were educated, you would have been a very good lawyer. There's no praise in that. That is an insult. So, we have to, they are accepting, these gurus, they are saying, oh, Namo Vishnupadaya. Vishnupadaya means one who has achieved, one who is at the lotus feet of Vishnu. He has to be a pure devotee in order to do that. But you see how Jayadvaita Swami speaks. Oh, Samsara Dava is not the Prabhupada song. That's so envious. That is Prabhupada's song. That's the reason why he put that song as the Mangalarti song. Because the original Mangalarti of the Gaudiya Math was Vibhavarishesha Aloka Pravesha. That was the original Mangalarti song. Prabhupada changed that to Guru because he wanted the Guru to be the focal point of one's spiritual life. And he saw that in his own spiritual masters movement, that because they did not put Guru as the primary the instruction of the Guru, therefore it all fizzled out. He did not want that to happen in ISKCON. And that's the reason why he instituted the Guru Puja also with, Guru's song, and Samsara Dava is Guru's song. So it is very much, he's stressing, the whole morning is about following the instruction of the Guru and everything. So it is Prabhupada's song, but this Jayadvaita Swami was so envious in order to say, oh, that's not Prabhupada's song and it's a Guru's song. No. Vishnupadaya, are you on the level of Vishnupadaya? Well, let's be honest. So these so-called Swamis, they admit themselves. Many of them have said, no, actually, we are taking you to Prabhupada. We will connect you to Prabhupada. Well, I don't need you to take to Prabhupada. I have the Prabhupada's books, and if I follow the temple management, I will go to Prabhupada anyway. Why I must take Diksha from you in order to go to Prabhupada? Did Prabhupada say that? Prabhupada said, I will take you to Kṛṣṇa. That is what we want. Take you to Prabhupada means that that is the definition of Siksha Guru. Siksha Guru will instruct you in a way that you can follow the instruction of Diksha Guru perfectly. Like, for example, Sundar Gopal Prabhu is teaching us how to follow Prabhupada's instructions properly. So that is Siksha Guru. That is Siksha Guru. Diksha Guru is the one who takes the responsibility of taking you back to Godhead. So how can they assume such praise as Vishnupadaya, Kṛṣṇa Preshthaya, very dear to Kṛṣṇa, as much as the gopis or the intimate associate? Really? And where is the order? Where is the order? Whereas there is a clear order on the contrary that nobody should become guru. So, Diksha Guru. Nobody is qualified. April 22nd, you can see Samal Krishna says there's nobody qualified. Prabhupada says yes, that's why the training must go on. So, April 22nd, 1977, just months before he left this world physically, he said that nobody is ready. And immediately after his departure, everybody is ready. How is that possible? So, this is nonsense. So, we have made a lot of material on the subject. You may consult our okay, one second. Let me know if I have the. This is one playlist I have that I just shared. This is the 5-part series. Let me see if I have. This is another video, our original video in question and answer format. I think these two should be very good. There are other videos also, which I don't have immediately access to. I saved these as shortcuts, so that's why I can put it out there. But the other ones I don't have. IA-77, I don't know if I have it. I don't have. Okay, so anyway, you can actually watch these videos. You can watch the secondary source, the video, instead of the playlist. That'll give you a primer. I mean, a general this thing in an interview format. And the other one is a lecture format, 5-part series. And Nimanitha Prabhu made a few videos on the subject. Um, we have a paper on that, Initiations of 1977. So you can consult all these things. So then you will know that the real offense is there. And that's why, that is where they are wrong. So we should know where exactly the mistake is. Yeah. Um, Devala is asking, so in initial days we need association, but what if we don't have? So do we become more serious to follow Prabhupada? Bro? We should seek the association and yes, pray for Prabhupada and pray to Kṛṣṇa to make the arrangements to come into the association of devotees and engage in Krishna service. Um, so we should eagerly want it. Then Krishna will, he carries what we lack. If we lack devotee association, he will give us the devotee association. But we should sincerely want it. Sometimes people get good association even if they did not sincerely want it. But the end result is that they get some benefit by associating with the proper devotees and doing some service, but they may also leave. So it's ultimately on one's sincerity. Sridhar is asking, Dandavat Pranam, Hare Krishna. Does a person in the mode of ignorance overcome his habitual laziness or complacency and become sincere and disciplined in the spiritual path? Yes. If he agrees to be disciplined, yes. So that's why association of devotees is essential. Devotees from all kinds of backgrounds and you know mentalities, they come to Krishna consciousness. How are they able to maintain the 16 round and following the 4 regulative principles and doing one thing after another and progressing in the devotional lives? How is that happening? That is happening because they are keeping themselves in the association of devotees, never having the hubris of thinking that I can do it all alone. We should always be humble enough and think this is what we have to think. Sorry. Yeah. Antilila 1.2. Durgame pathimendhasya skhalat padagatermuhu swakripayashtidanena santah santvavalambanam. Beautiful verse. My path, every devotee should think like this. My path is very difficult. I am blind, and my feet are slipping again and again. Therefore, may the saints or the sadhus, devotees, help me by granting me the stick of their mercy as my support. You know, when you've seen old men with a walking stick, and they're blind, and it's very difficult, and his feet are slipping. Imagine, it's a very, very dangerous position. Any time there can be danger, right? Blind, feet slipping, no balance, you know. So what they need, at least a stick, the stick of the walking stick, so that like all this disability aid, a person who can completely not able to not walk, if he has a wheelchair, he will smoothly go from one place to another. So even though we may be disabled in spiritual life, the association of devotees, see what he's asking here, may the saints, that means the devotees, help me by granting me the stick of their mercy as my support. The mercy of devotees, the association of devotees is what will enable our journey forward, like the wheelchair or the walking stick. So, in those days when Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami wrote this, there was no wheelchair, but we have now. At that time, there were walking sticks. So these appliances, so these are, our our position is like the disabled person in spiritual life. So we should never have the hubris of thinking that we can do it all alone. We can never do it all alone. We always need the association of devotees. That's why those people who say that, oh, I follow Prabhupada, I don't need all these devotees who are anyway all full of politics. No. They may be full of politics, but they are in the association to rectify themselves. And yes, their past nature may come out. But that is where I would learn tolerance. I would learn how to spot those mistakes in myself. When I see it in others, it is very clear, yeah, that's not good. But wait a minute, do I have the same behavior? I think I do have. So I should stop that. Now that I can see it from an external perspective, I can see how it looks on the outside. When I do it, I can't notice it, but this is how I am, and people are tolerating me, so I should correct myself. And I should learn to tolerate what the other person is doing. So even if the devotees are imperfect, it absolutely doesn't matter as long as they all are for the spiritual master, executing the order of the spiritual master. There may be personal disagreements, and that is bound to happen. But in all such instances, one should see the bigger picture there, where everybody is surrendered to Krishna and Prabhupada. And then even if there are minor disagreements, one has to, in fact, they are learning lessons how to navigate such situations. And we will learn. Actually, they are learning lessons. So we should always stay in the association of devotees. Tadera charana sevi bhakta sanivas janame janame hoy ei abhilash. Narottam Das Thakur says. What does he say? I want to be always in the association of devotees and serve them. Let me do this life after life after life. That's the prayer. One stick is easy to break. 100 sticks, very difficult to break, almost impossible. So alone, Maya can easily break us. But if you are with devotees, no. And not just to be in the proximity of devotees, to actually actively participate in the association and derive the full benefit. There are many devotees who are proximally situated near devotees, but they don't take the full advantage of such association, and therefore they still fall away. So in the Niti Shastra, there is a verse. I was just flipping through the pages and I found one. I don't know where that is. He says, the person next to you actually may be very far away, because in your mind you're not thinking of the person. But if you're thinking of a person, even though he's very far away, he's actually very near to you. I did not know of that verse before, but I mentioned that concept before. That, just next building here, there is a a restaurant, meat restaurant and all that. I mean, just a stone's throw away from here. So very near, yes. They don't have any. They're very far away actually. And something like, I was thinking this. I thought last year when Baladev Vidyabhushan Prabhu from America, he came over for 5 days. He had to go out of the country for his visa or something. He was in America for 5 days. He came all the way to Singapore and spent time here and went back. He is so far away, halfway across the globe, but he's so near because his heart is here. So distance, physical distance, there is another kind of distance which is subtle. The real distance is more important than physical distance. So I'm not saying that physical distance is not important, but if we can physically be close, I have to also be mentally and emotionally be close to the devotees. Actually, actively, serve them and inquire all this pariprashnena, sevaya, pranipata. All these things must happen not only to the Diksha Guru but his representatives also, the Siksha Gurus. So in that way, I'll develop the proper mood to serve the Diksha Guru and the Vaishnavas. And that's when I'll make progress. I can't make any progress if I say, "Oh, I'm Prabhupada follower. I don't care for all these, low class Vaishnavas." I will not make any progress like that. Zero. When I learn how to serve the Vaishnavas, when I learn how to associate with Vaishnavas, that's when Kṛṣṇa will actually take interest in us. That is the path how to go to Kṛṣṇa. Okay, this is what I posted. Okay, fine. Sridhar, how to change the lifetime of bad habits and suddenly change consciousness to practice spiritual sadhana, like the story of Valmiki and Hunter. Association of devotees is the answer. I just answered it actually just now. So that is the proper way. Don't underestimate the power of sadhu sangam. In their association, the only price we have to pay is sincerity. I have to be sincere. And that's it. The rest, sadhu sangha will take care. So when we associate like that, then proper sadhus, who are not some bogus ones. So then automatically I will make an all advancement very quickly. Yeah, so this is good. 10:29:27. So this is what Krishna also said to the gopis in the Rasa Panchadhyaya. What did he say? Shravanat darshanat dhyanan mayi bhavonukirtanat na tatha sannikarshena pratiyata tato grihan. Transcendental love for me arises by the devotional processes of hearing about me, seeing my deity form, meditating on me, and faithfully chanting my glories. The same result is not achieved by mere physical proximity. So please go back to your homes. So this is go back to your homes means this is for the gopis. Of course, he was giving them reverse psychology instruction, but it is nevertheless still as meaningful for us as well, because physical proximity does not equal spiritual proximity. Prabhupada only met his spiritual master like 10 times max in his life. But he is spiritually way closer to his spiritual master than all the so called sannyasis who spent a lifetime with him, and yet by instruction they were far away. So we have to understand this concept very clearly and do the needful. Devala is asking, Prabhu, does a Ritvik representative take some sins of a newly initiated devotee? Well, there is a commission of um, reactions that a representative would take because he is taking the responsibility of suggesting um, somebody to Prabhupada. And for that exercise of power of attorney, for exercising that power of discretion, he has to, yes, be answerable to an extent. Prabhupada once was asked, do the representatives also take any reaction? He said, why not? So it is there because we are taking some responsibility of that souls getting initiated and all that. Devale is asking, recently I came to know about one quotation of Prabhupada where he says, no need to learn many skills. So, how do we understand this? Yeah, I think the understanding is already given in the group. You can read that reference. Prabhupada is saying that no need to get distracted in learning other things than service and replacing that with service. But we still have to learn many things. Like Prabhupada engaged his disciples to paint. They never painted in their lives. They learned how to paint. They never learned how to print books. They started printing books. They never sold anything and they started selling books. And they never learned how to manage a temple. They did learn how to manage. Some devotees did not know how to. I did not know how to drive before I came to Krishna consciousness. I learned driving after joining the temple because that's necessary for service. I never learned how to play mridanga. I learned how to play mridanga. So, what is necessary for service, we have to learn. And in order to stay relevant, I mean, we have to know certain things in our services to Krishna. But, you know, sometimes devotees take it a bit too far and learn things at the expense of their service. That is what Prabhupada does not want because our thing is now diverted somewhere else. So he does not want that. So that has to be understood in the context. All right. So thank you very much for all your participation. जय श्रीमद् भगवद गीता की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय, निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे। हरि हरि बोल। हरे कृष्ण।